And we are live. We are live. We are live. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? Let's talk about this fire card that we have. Before that, let me just grab my coffee. Hold on. I'll be right back. All right, here we go. Here we go. Let's talk about this card, man. I couldn't wait to get on here. Oh, man. What's up, everybody? What's going on? All right, it's Thursday. Weather's getting good here in New York. All right, hope everyone's having a great week so far. Hit that subscribe button, smash that like button on your way in. Hit that like, hit the thumbs up, man. All right, let's wait for a few more people to join up. And then we can get this going, man. We gotta go through all of these fights on this super mega card. All right, but I'm gonna wait for a few more people to join in. What's up, El Unico Saga Analysis? What's up, man? Let's get to it, man. Boxing pound for pound, Jack. What's happening with you? 1 foot out the door. What is good? Let's talk about this card, man. What is going on with boxing, man? What's up, Geo Caesar? What's up with what is going on with Turkey, man? What is Turkey doing to us? This is not supposed to be. I mean, it's supposed to be happening, but I can't believe it's happening. This is what we deserve. This is what we deserve, man. We've been waiting a long time to get these quality cards, yo. And I mean, they're even overdoing it at this point. What's up, Hybrid? What's good? They're overdoing it at this point. Like, this is overkill. This is overkill. You giving us cards with undercard fights that can easily be the main event. Easily. Yo, I shout out to everybody, man. I read all your comments on the video that I did yesterday. I appreciate the comments that you guys left. Oh, hold on. Let me fix something on here. Yeah, I really appreciate the comments that you guys left on the why is my thumbnail different? Yeah, the comments you guys left were really dope on the video that I did last night. It was late last night. I had just got home. You know, I had worked really late. And what's up, Yvonne? I had worked really late, and I was like, man, I was just really like sitting here thinking, like, man, I'm really like, I looked at the schedule and I'm like, yo, I gotta go to work this month. Like, this month is gonna be nothing but boxing. Like, this, I'm not doing nothing. Like, I'm shutting down outside of like my job and just like really important stuff. It's gonna be all boxing. Like, these cards are incredible. I don't even have to talk about gossip no more. I don't have to talk about Bill Haney and Floyd Mayweather arguing. I don't have to talk about Errol Spence and Derrick James and their, you know, their lawsuit. I don't have to even, I can skip all that. I can keep it straight boxing because we have quality fights now. You know, and I don't have to talk. I can skip over the gossip shit now. Like, I'm good. And that's what made me make that video last night. I was like, yo, this is incredible. You know, please let this continue on. We've been waiting for years. Like, now we're just getting undisputed fights on a regular. Now we getting cards. I think the one thing that I would say that is the one negative thing is that there's going to be a lot of pay-per-views now. Like, everything is going to be more expensive for us as far as the consumers, because all of these are going to be pay-per-views. You know, hopefully that they don't charge full price for every single card, but there's going to be nothing but pay-per-views. Like everything is going to be a pay-per-view this year, you know? So that's the only downfall. I mean, if you are a streamer, like most people are streamers anyway, but if you are a person that actually pay for these, it's going to be pretty expensive, you know, but at least they're not like $85 pay-per-views. You know, some of them, they're going to be lower, you know, in like $50 range, $60 range, you know, maybe even lower than the $50 range. So that's the one thing, but there's going to be a lot of pay-per-views. And if you are subscribed to the Zone, like myself, it's very expensive now. You know, it's the subscription fee. I don't even know what it is anymore, but because I normally do the yearly, but it's a lot more than what it used to be. And plus you got to add on the pay-per-view with that, you know, but yeah, I think I'm very, very happy, man. I'm very excited. These cards are just over the top. I mean, we just got the crazy Art the Better BF card. You know, I just did content on that, you know, like what, 2 weeks ago, maybe not even 2 weeks on that card. That crazy, the 5 versus 5, the Queensberry against Matchroom card. Crazy, crazy, crazy. And then now we get this. Like this came out of nowhere, man. This is a fully stacked card right here, you know. So shout out to all of you, man. Shout out to everyone that's here. Yeah, Hyper says I don't mind paying for good fights and good fight cards. Yeah, you know, I mean, and again, for the people that can't afford it, they're gonna stream in anyway. You know, everybody's not gonna pay anyway, you know. But shout out to FC. Thank you, FC. Says great video you made yesterday regarding boxing. Thank you, appreciate that. Yeah, man, I'm so excited, bro. I mean, you don't understand. I am so tired of just talking about nonsense. And it seems like that's what everybody wants. You know what I mean? I don't want to do it. You know? Yeah, Hybrid says you're gonna be busy for the next few months, brother. You so many good fights coming. Yeah, absolutely. So anyway, yo, let's get straight to it. Let's get right on to it, man. Let's talk about this super mega card that we got here on Riyadh season. Riyadh season card. It's August 3rd. It's going to be in America. All right. America. It's going to be in America. It's going to be out in LA. People are asking me if I'm going. I'm unsure yet. I will let you guys know if I go. You know, I am gonna look at the prices when the tickets go on sale. And you know, it's like I may actually just try to get you know, some media pass, and maybe I'll do it that way. But we'll see. We'll see. You know, because the thing is, I love going to fights, but I love being on here and doing a live commentary too. You know what I mean? So it's like one of these fights is where I kind of want to be here with you guys, but I do want to kind of go too. So I got to see how I feel. Again, I'll look at tickets. I'll look at my options and figure it out. But I do really like being here with you guys and covering, you know, doing and it's good for the channel. You know, you get a lot of subscribers on that night, you know, and it's just a fun time. But I do, you know, I go to a fight every now and then, you know, so I gotta figure it out. I'll figure it out. All right. So all right, let's get it. Let's talk about this card, man. So let's start at the very bottom of the card. All right. And hold on, let me pull up this. I'm gonna save an image and then try to get it up on the screen just in case you guys don't know. Let me get a full image of this card here. All right. I'm not good at this. All right, I should have prepped that before I started the live. All right, but all right, let me just get into this. I'm gonna start from the bottom up. Andy Ruiz against Antonio Moran. All right. So Andy Ruiz, we already know, two-time Olympic gold medalist from Cuba, has beaten Keyshawn Davis 5 times in the amateurs. Even after turning pro, they fought one more time. And he was able to beat Keyshawn. And Keyshawn's one of the best, not even a prospect at this point. I mean, he's in contender status. All right, but he had recently signed to Matchroom. I believe he had 3 fights so far. And he's looking good. You know, and he's with Bozy Ennis, you know, the father. He's the father of Jerron Ennis, Boots. And he's looking good, man, and he's looking better with every fight. He's explosive, man. He's ridiculously fast, crazy reflexes, crazy IQ. And he's fighting Antonio Moran. Now, Antonio Moran, if you're not familiar with him, he is the last fighter that Devin Haney fought and knocked out. Do you guys remember that? All right, big overhead right from Devin Haney, and knocked out Antonio Moran. I think it's been about 5 years since that fight. Matter of fact, let me look it up. Yeah, that was back in 2019. So it's been 5 years since that fight. And this is a huge step up. This is a huge step up for Andy Cruz. Okay, the opposition is getting better with each fight. You know, and he's not stopping all of these guys. You know, he did stop one of them, Giovanni Strafan. Remember covering that fight live. He's not stopping everybody, but he's dominating. He's winning every round of each fight. You know, he hasn't, I don't believe he's lost a round yet as a pro. Antonio Moran has been in there with a lot of fighters, man. You know, yes, he got stopped by Haney, but he's been in there with a lot of fighters. All right. He's been in there with let's look down the list. He's been in there with Jose Pedraza. All right. He's been in there with Arnold Barbosa. Okay. So he's been in there recently with Jermaine Ortiz, Romero Duno. So he's been in there with some credible contenders, former champions type guys. You know what I mean? So he's been in there. He's been in there with some top guys. All right. Now, did he lose most of those fights? Yes, but he's only been stopped by Devin Haney, which is kind of surprising because Devin Haney is not even a big puncher. But that was the most powerful punch I ever seen Devin Haney throw and land. All right, so this is a good fight. A good, you know, I think it's going to be another good showcase fight for Andy Cruz. You know, very skilled fighter, and I think he's already one of the best at the division. You know, I mean, it's just got to take some time for him to get to the very top, but I think at this point, I think he could compete with any top lightweight right now, you know, because of that amateur background. You know, 2-time Olympic medalists, you know, just like the Lomachenkos and the Guillermo Rigondeaux. These guys don't need a lot of fights. They're going to come in straight in, going at the very top guys right away. You know, at the most, they need maybe 5 pro fights. These guys are legitimate. These guys are the real deal. You know what I mean? Smash that like button. Yes. Thank you, MAW. What's good with you, man? So this is the first card. I mean, first fight on the night. All right. The next fight. This is the fight that this is a nail biter for me. You know, I know most fans might not think so, but David Morrell has officially moved up to 175. He said he's tired of waiting at 168 for a fight with no one that wants to fight me. No one wants to fight him at 168. He's been the WBA regular champion. And as soon as he decided to move up to 175, you know what the WBA did, right? They just elevated Mr. Edgar Berlanga, who is now Canelo's mandatory with the WBA. See how boxing works. And Dave Morrell, I think he wants Benavidez, man. He's been wanting Benavidez. He's stalking David Benavidez. But these guys, including David Benavidez, but these guys, David Morrell is on this card. And he's going to be fighting Hot Rod Kalajdzic. This is the guy that I think beat Marcus Brown. And Marcus Brown is my dude. That's my guy right there. But this guy, you know, Marcus got a pretty clear gift in that fight years back. You know, I covered that fight years ago. And Kalajdzic is no joke. Like, I know he's lost to Beterbiev, but everybody lost to Beterbiev. But for Dave Morrell to be going up to 175 in his first fight, fighting a guy that can box good, is a puncher, and is in his prime, coming off of a knockout win, a recent knockout win against Sullivan Barrera. And Barrera is long past it. He's long past it. He's been past it for some time now. You know what I mean? Barrera's out, you know, but Kalajdzic recently stopped him. Okay, this guy can punch, he can box. You know, Beterbiev, don't look at the Beterbiev loss and overlook this guy. This guy's legit. This guy's legit. All right. Very tough fight for Morrell in his first fight up to 175. And in my opinion, this is his toughest opponent to date. You know, I haven't really seen Morrell in there with no real killers yet. So I'm gonna be looking out for this match. Take a look at this. This is, you know, I don't know what the odds are gonna be, you know, but if they're wide for Morrell, I'll be looking to put a few dollars down on Kalajdzic pulling off the upset. You know, again, there's still a lot of unknowns for Morrell at this level, at the top level. There's still a lot of unknowns. And I think Kalajdzic can run with the best of them outside of the top, like, as far as like top contenders at 175, I think he can run with the best of them. So for Dave Morrell to go straight at this guy, and even for David Benavidez to go straight at Alexander Volzdik as his first fight at 175. You know, I mean, you know, Volzdik, you know, he's older and he's taking some years off and some time off the sport because of that Beterbiev loss, but you know, he's picked up a few wins, and I still think David is in for a tough fight. You know, especially if Volzdik is anything like he used to be. You know, if this fight was, you know, around the time that Volzdik fought Beterbiev, I would have clearly picked Volzdik to beat David Benavidez. You know, but right now I think that it might be the right time for Benavidez. But listen, it's more about Morrell against Kalajdzic. And this is a great fight to have on the undercard. To be honest, on any other card, this would have been good enough to be a co-main event. Excuse me. I've been stuffy all month, man. I don't know what's going on with me. But yeah, this would have been a good co-main event. You know, or this could have been a main event on like Showbox, you know, on a smaller card. You know what I mean? Like on the Zone or any network. It could have been a main event on a smaller card for the Morrell that's on the come up. A lot of eyes on Morrell, but this is his toughest fight today. Again, I'm leaning towards Morrell. But if he's a huge favorite to win, I'm definitely gonna put some dollars down, a few dollars on Kalajdzic to put on, you know, to pull off an upset. Can't sleep. And speaking on upsets, before we get to the next fight, because the next fight I'm going to spend a lot of time on, Andy Ruiz against Gerald Miller. I'm going to spend a lot of time on that fight. You know, I spent some time talking about it last night, but you guys got to understand, and we just saw it this past weekend with Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia, because we are getting quality fights consistently, because we're getting these great fights in these great cards. There are going to be upsets, guys and ladies. There's going to be upsets. There's going to be a lot of upsets this year. I'm talking about from the very top to the bottom. We might get an upset on this card. We might get an upset on a 5v5 card. We're going to get a lot of upsets here. A lot of guys are not going to be under, because these guys are signing up for these good paydays to be on these cards led by Turki Al-Sheikh. There's not going to be no more keeping that, it's not. These guys can lose. Anybody can lose. I was saying this about Crawford moving up to 154. Spence moving up to 154. Boots possibly moving up to 154 at some point. 154, no one plays around there. But as far as boxing, if you're getting on one of these cards, these Turkey cards, His Excellency, if you're getting on these cards, I'm sure you're getting paid well, but you don't have no easy scrap. None of these fights are walking apart for anybody. So there's going to be upsets this year, probably on this card. At least one of these fighters who's a favorite to at least one, maybe two of these fights. I think the only clear winner for me on this card is the first fight, and that's Andy Cruz against Antonio Moran. All of the other fights, to me, anybody could lose. So I love it. Let's move on to the next fight. Andy Ruiz, man, I've been talking about him so much lately too. Andy Ruiz is making his return finally. It's so sad because Andy Ruiz has been man, for a guy to have won and beat Anthony Joshua, one of the biggest upsets in the last 20 plus years in boxing. And for him to go straight to the very top, become a star overnight, become a superstar, highly demanded fight, to go to the very bottom. What happened? I know what happened. He didn't train for his next fight. He didn't train for the rematch in Joshua. Started having financial issues. Started having issues outside of the ring. Became inactive. PBC fell apart. Where has he been? And all these guys been getting money. Joshua, Wilder, Parker, Zhang. All these guys has been active. And now Andy Ruiz got an opportunity. I mean, even Gerald Miller got an opportunity before him, fighting Triple D. But he's going to be fighting Gerald Miller. And I saw the presser. Gerald Miller was different. Very humble. He made it clear that Andy Ruiz and him are good friends. He said once he got the call for the fight, he called Andy Ruiz directly. He was like, yo, we really gonna do this? You know what I mean? We really gonna do this? The fight is going down. And the reason why, I wouldn't say the fight, I am leaning towards Andy Ruiz. I'll give you a final prediction the week of the fight. I'm talking about, I want to see what these guys look like that week. Hell no, I ain't giving you no early prediction for this fight. Because I have no idea I don't know what Gerald Miller is going to look like. I don't know what Andy Ruiz is going to look like. Both of these guys have fallen completely out of shape in some period of their career. Andy Ruiz not only fell out of shape against Joshua in a rematch, but Chris Arreola was knocking him around in that ring in the first couple of rounds, where Andy was a huge favorite to win that fight. I mean, he won, but man, I mean, Arreola was hitting him and hurting him throughout the fight in those early rounds. So I don't know. I mean, like, listen, man. If Gerald Miller, like Gerald Miller said and I said this last night, if Gerald Miller sticks to his word, again, I don't trust what he says. I don't trust what Andy Ruiz says, because these guys are two of the least disciplined fighters out there. But if they take this serious, as they should, because they got another opportunity. I mean, man, how many more opportunities are you going to get? in this sport that we love. How many more opportunities? How many times can you screw up and keep getting another opportunity? These two, especially for Gerald Miller and the PEDs, the scandals he's been involved in. Bro, take this shit serious. Like I said in the Triple D fight. Like I said before when he got caught up with PEDs, get in shape, bro. Stop cutting corners. Stop eating burgers. Stop playing around. Like, bro, they're going to keep putting Gerald Miller on the cards because of his mouth. He talks heavy. He helps sell these fights. He helped sell that fight back in December. He didn't show up that night, but he helped sell it at that press conference. It was when he went up and started talking, everybody paid attention. But here on this card, he was very humble. Very, very humble. A lot of respect for Andy Ruiz. A lot of respect for all the fighters that were there. And basically, he was like, look, I have time. The fight in December was last minute. It was a phone call made. Everybody got the call. Everybody had to go in. Short camp. You got all the way into August 3rd. We got a long time. You got all of May. You got all of June. You got all of July. You got more than 3 months to get yourself fit enough to fight at your best. If you lose, at least you were at your best. But Gerald Miller, do not weigh 330 pounds, bro. Cut that weight down. You can't use PEDs anymore. You need to be 290. I'm going to keep repeating that. 290 should at least be the goal. It should not be any more than that. It shouldn't be any more than that. Let me go to Gerald Miller and his let me go to his Gerald Miller. When he fought Gerald in Washington, he was 298. That was back in 2017. All right. 2016, he was 274. 283 end of the year. Then he was around 296. When he fought Marius Wack, he was 283. So that was 2017. In 2018, he fought Johan Duhaupas. Tomas Adamic, 317. Bogdan Dinu, 315. All right. Then he got caught up with the drugs. He was supposed to fight AJ. Came back 341. 328. 333 against Lucas Brown. 333 against Daniel Dubois. Nah. Yeah. Nah. He needs to get down. I think the goal should be 290. Because he's not a one-punch knockout artist. He is a volume puncher. He overwhelms you with volume. And we didn't see that in Triple D fight. He got tired, but by third, fourth round, he was already slowing down. Could have won that fight. He was doing all right early, but he just couldn't do it. He was too big. So I think he has a shot. And the same thing with Andy. Andy to me is the better talent. Always been. Andy always has some of the fastest hands. Big hooker. Fun to watch. I mean, he consistently fought at the top tier. Fighting Joseph Parker. You know what I mean? I could go back. I've been watching Andy for a long time. Fought Ray Austin. I remember watching that fight. Tor Hamer, from Harlem. I remember watching that fight. I remember I'm going down to like 2013. A lot of us been watching him for years, when he was back with those top ring cards. All right. Joseph Parker fight to me was a tie, was a draw. All right. But he got his opportunity with AJ and got the stoppage. And then everything fell apart after that. He was 283 against AJ in that rematch, man. But he was 268 in the first AJ fight, and he didn't even have a full camp there. So yeah, I heard somebody say earlier, I saw somebody say in the comments early, Andy Ruiz need to be around 255. That's fair. You know, I think at the lowest, you know, he's been in the 240s. You know, and Chris Arioli was 256, but he didn't look great in that fight. So I mean, I think he needs to cut down the weight for sure. But also he's going to be very, very, very rusty. So even though I think he has the better talent, Gerald Miller actually has been more active than him recently. You know what I mean? So Gerald Miller fought twice in 2022, twice in 2023, and Andy Ruiz only fought. He fought once in 2022, fought once in 2021, and then was off for 2 years after losing to AJ. So he's extremely inactive. So the gap is close. It's not really spread out. Yes, I think Andy is the better talent, has the better resume by far. He's clean, no PEDs. But which Andy Ruiz are we getting? Are we getting the Andy Ruiz that's just looking for a check? Because if Andy doesn't show up in his best shape and Gerald Miller actually shows up in decent shape and he's able to cut 30, 40 pounds, I don't know where the fight is going to go. That's why I say I'm going to give you the prediction. That's probably going to be the last prediction out of all of these fights. Because I have to give you that prediction after the weigh-in. I'm going to give you that prediction because Andy Ruiz is the king of what? What is Andy Ruiz the king of? Somebody saying in the comments, because somebody said it to me earlier this week. Andy Ruiz is the king of catfishing. His pictures are fake. In multiple fights, he's looked like a bodybuilder and then showed up looking completely different at the weigh-in. Because leading up to the Joshua rematch, dude looked like he completely transformed himself, and we didn't know that these pictures was catfish. They were edited pictures. So he's the king of catfish. So I'll give you a prediction on August 2nd. All right. Expect everybody else to be done before that. But August 2nd, I'll give you a prediction video for Andy Ruiz and Gerald Miller. Depending on how they look at that weigh-in. All right. All right. So let's move down the list, man. Again, so David Morrell, Kalajdzic could have been a fight on his own card, on a smaller card. Andy Ruiz versus Gerald Miller could have been a main event, right? Not a pay-per-view, but a main event. Tszyu against Virgil Ortiz? What? Come on, man. Tszyu against Virgil Ortiz now in 2024? Come on, man. Are we serious? Like, I mean, that's a main event. That's a goal. That's me. I want to go to that fight. Like, I'll pay my money to go to see that shit. That's crazy. And Virgil Ortiz is fighting this weekend. By the way, I have the video done. 8 p.m. Eastern. That's going to be on a preview. So I already pre-recorded. So I'm just letting you guys know since you're here. The video at 8 o'clock is pre-recorded. I actually recorded it a couple hours ago. But I didn't want to upload it now because everybody's going to be here instead of watching that one. So be on the lookout for that video. I did predictions, did breakdowns for 3 fights. That's Virgil Ortiz against Thomas Delorme. That's Ramirez against Barthélemy, and Jojo Diaz against Oscar Duarte. That's going to be this Saturday on the Zone, 8 p.m. Eastern. All right, I'm not going to be able to do the commentary, but check the breakdown video I did. It'll be uploaded later at 8 p.m. All right, but Virgil Ortiz against Tszyu is like, what did they say? An unstoppable force versus an immovable object. I think that's how it goes. That's the saying. That's like, yo, that's like Superman fighting like the Hulk or something. You know what I mean? Like it's like, who's going to come forward? Who's going to come forward? My prediction is going to be Tszyu. My prediction, Tszyu is going to come forward. My prediction. Okay, Goku is cool. Superman versus Goku, that's cool. You know? But I think Tszyu being the season 154 guy. First of all, let me make this clear to y'all. I don't feel any different by Tszyu from that loss. A lot of fighters lose, and you got to wonder where they're going to be at. I said this about Devin Haney. I don't know. I don't know. He took a beating. All right. He took a beating. You know, Errol Spence, he took a beating. Tszyu, all that did was make me respect him more, because a guy got clipped with an elbow and was still smiling as he's bloodied up. This guy's crazy. All he did was show me that he's durable as hell. That loss did not make me feel any different. He got punched in the face a whole lot of times because he couldn't see, and he still was coming forward and made the fight close. I think Sebastian won. Some of you guys say Tszyu won. I think Sebastian edged him. I think he won. I see people talking about Tszyu as if like he fell off. Did you guys watch that fight? It was like he was handicapped and it was still a fight. Defense was off. He got punched. He got hit with everything and still kept forward against Sebastian Fundora. Fast for Sebastian Fundora, do you guys remember what he did to Erickson Lubin's face? So picture that, but he hit Tszyu even more. Tszyu was still able to break his nose. He can't fight until September. Man, Star Fox, man, listen, if His Excellency gives me a call, yo, I'm out of here. Please give me a call. For real. But Tszyu didn't lose some credit. I think people don't like him because I think the Jamel Charlo, I think a lot of people don't like him because of Jamel Charlo. Because he was really pushing for the fight, and his fans, a lot of them from Australia, especially on social media, was like, yo, Jamel's ducking him. And all the Jamel fans was like, nah, he's not ducking him. He's undisputed, yada, yada, yada. So I think a lot of people wanted to see him fail and get exposed. He didn't get exposed as hell. He didn't get exposed. How did he get exposed? All he did was prove to me that he's durable and that he's crazy. He's just like his dad. He's just like his dad. I like that guy. I'm rooting for him to win. Virgil, win in boxing, because in his interviews, he's always been like, I'll fight anybody. Now, Virgil Ortiz, look, we already know how the Tomas Delorme fight, the breakdown is going to be on later, but we already know how that fight is going to go. All right. I think Virgil get some rounds in, if he can get some rounds in, because technically he's only had one round in the last 2 years. You know what I mean? Tszyu, yes, coming off of a loss. He's coming off of a loss. But Tszyu has been active as crazy. 3 years, 3 fights last year. True 154 guy. Huge step up for Vergil Ortiz. You fighting a puncher and a hooker. And you guys got to think about that. You got 2 guys with clean hooks. I've seen Vergil hurt. I've seen Vergil get, get caught with a good shot from McKinson. What's his name? I've seen Vergil get hurt by, what's the name? Kalajdzic at 147. But Tszyu is a hooker. So is Vergil Ortiz. That's going to be a banger. But Vergil Ortiz got to understand that this is 154 now. I'm still waiting to see how all of these fighters, including Bud, looks at 154. Boots, Bud, Spence, Vergil, Keith Thurman. 154 is a different ball game, man. And you going straight to Tszyu, very, very risky fight for an undefeated fighter. All right. I'll give you a full breakdown when we get there. Obviously Vergil's fighting this weekend. Get the rounds in. I'm leaning towards Tszyu. I actually think it's just a little too soon to take Vergil. If Vergil was coming off being active at 147 and then moving up to 154 to fight Tszyu, I wouldn't really know, but I'm leaning towards Tszyu because that loss, it was like a good loss in my opinion. It didn't hurt his resume or anything to me in my opinion. I'm leaning towards Tszyu. All right? But obviously Vergil got to win this fight this weekend. All right? Neither one of them was at the presser, of course, because Vergil is fighting Saturday night and Tim is probably still out hanging out in Australia right now. So we'll wait and see. All right. So the next fight, it's like I like this fight, but I don't like the WBA's involvement. You guys know I've been complaining about the WBA and this title at 140. It's ridiculous to me. Isaac Cruz against Jose Valenzuela. Legit fight. Right? Another fight that I think this could be the main event on this card. Legit fight. I like Isaac Cruz. I like Pitbull. I love him. He's solid to me. His style, he's going to be a nightmare for everybody. I always say that. No one's going to beat him easily. No one is going to look good against him, even if you can beat him. The problem I have is the WBA. They're letting guys from 135 get all these opportunities to fight for that title when you got a million top tier fighters, killers at 140 right now that's been there. They're just passing the belt around. The whole 135 division from the PBC are getting shots at this belt. None of these guys are ranked. Rolly got a fight after he just got knocked out at 135. And there was a robbery because Ismael Barroso got stopped for no reason. I don't even want to say prematurely. It was just a ridiculous stoppage. Like, why was he stopped? Nothing happened. So Rolly had the WBA full title at 140. Then he gets knocked out by Isaac Cruz. He has a title at 140 and never fought there. And now Jose Valenzuela is getting a shot. What are we doing? Love the fight, but why is these guys getting a title shot at 140? What's going on? Jose Valenzuela, based on what? You know, he got knocked out by Edwin De Los Santos. Cool. You know, people take losses, whatever, but he was a prospect at that time. All right. He lost to Chris Colbert, questionable, but he came off a crazy knockout of the year type of knockout in the rematch. Cool. Chris Colbert is barely a lightweight. You knocked out a guy that barely fought at lightweight. Chris Colbert is a 130 guy. He only got one fight at 135. That's against Jose Valenzuela. So how do you get a title shot at 140? What is the WBA doing? Yes, Ismael Barroso should get another shot. But even him, look at it this way. He should get another shot based on his recent knockout win. Right? But if we're being honest, yeah, I guess I don't want to make that point. I think he does get a shot. I think he should get a shot. Yeah, I don't want to go there. I don't want to go there. I think Ismail deserves a shot because he was robbed against Rolly. Rolly should have never got a shot to begin with. You know what I mean? But Barroso beating O'Hara Davis was legit. So yes, he deserves a shot. He's a deserver. So I agree with you there. Who said that? Who left the comment? MAW. Yeah, you're right. All right. Good fight though. I got early picks. I gotta go with Cruz. Because Valenzuela is a beast. Genji. I've never been a fan of O'Hara Davis, and I've been watching him for years. I was never that high off him. I started watching him when he was having them back and forth with Josh Taylor years ago. And that's when I started to watch him, because a fight with Josh Taylor was coming up. And I started doing film study on him. And I never thought he was that good. So when he got blown away, yes, I was surprised at how quickly it was. But I didn't think he was going to win. I never thought O'Hara was that good. He seemed like a really good guy. I know he did have like a YouTube channel and stuff. I respect him for being a fighter, but I never thought he was that good, to be honest. I have Pitbull. I think Rayo's problem is he's just too easy to hit. Rayo's problem is his defense. His head is dead center. His head is right on the line all the time. And for a guy like Pitbull Cruz to be that short and to be able to get underneath him and launch those big looping hooks, he's going to catch Rayo. Rayo's legit, man. He's good, but he's just his defense. I give him an F for defense. His defense is very bad. And you know what another problem is? Ryan is taking too much contact, man, in these fights. For a young fighter like him, he's taking a lot of punishments in his fights. Getting knocked out like that against De Los Santos. But even in the Chris Colbert, the first fight, that was a war. And I think fight Pitbull Cruz it's just gonna be too much, man. So I'm leaning towards Pitbull. And I'm probably going to stick to that prediction. I think even after doing film study, I'm going to lean for Pitbull for most fights against fighters at 135, except for a few people. I think Pitbull is going to be difficult for a lot of these fighters to beat. But I think when Pitbull starts fighting legit 140 pounders, that's going to be an issue, Yeah, but Rayo, to me, taking too much punishment in his most recent fights. And I think Pitbull is is going to win and actually knock him out too. I think I don't know, man. I just don't. I like Ryo. Ryo's good. I have to really look and see who he fought, but I don't. I can look at this thing and tell you, there's nobody in his resume that's anything like Pitbull. Chris Colbert is not it, bro. Isaac Cruz would have knocked out uh Chris Colbert very quickly, very very quickly. So I give Ryo the credit for stopping him in the rematch and all that, but Isaac Cruz is gonna knock out a lot of these dudes straight out. I don't know, a lot of people might not like him because he did avoid certain fights. I feel like he was saving himself, or the PBC was saving him for probably like another Tank rematch or something like that. But didn't fight Ryan, didn't fight Shakur, didn't fight a lot of guys. But in the ring, like, I don't see many people at 135 beating him like that, because of his style. That Mike Tyson-ish kind of style. He ain't Mike, but out of everybody's fighting right now, he's close to it, and I think you gotta be able to move. You have to have some really good IQ to get out of the way. Shakur, Tank was able to do it. Shakur. There's a few fighters that I think that would be able to do it at 135, but not many of them, So I got Pitbull knocking him out. It's going to be a war. It's going to be a great fight. I'm still waiting to see somebody really hurt Pitbull. Maybe it's Jose. Maybe Jose, could prepare, because I think the uppercut is key. But you watch Pitbull and watch the Tank fight. Pitbull had good defense against Tank when he was trying to set him up and line him up for that uppercut. All right, give me a second. Let me blow my nose real quick. Yeah, so like I was saying, good fight. It doesn't. The WBA title for 140 shouldn't be there though, but still good fight. I don't know if I don't know, because Haney right now, I can't, to be honest, I don't know. I really don't know. I don't even know. Haney lost so bad that I'm not writing him off, but it's very, 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 very hard to call how a Haney fight right now. It's the same. It's like when you get beaten like that really bad. Spence, AJ against Ruiz. When AJ, when AJ lost to Ruiz, I know I was one of the few people that really wanted AJ to rematch him right away, because I thought that he could capitalize off a mistake he made in the first fight. I truly believe AJ was trying to show out in front of that New York crowd. And he was trying to get a quick knockout. Wilder had just knocked out Brazil a couple weeks before that. And I think AJ was coming here to America. It was his first fight here, and he was trying to show out, and he paid for it. But guys like Spence, guys like Haney that got beat up that bad, I kind of need to see where they're at after a loss like that. You know what I mean? So I'm not really sure. That was a bad beating, you know, and I give him a lot of credit because he kept getting up, you know, and I don't think enough people are talking about that. He got up every single time. All right. I thought that should have been. I thought Ryan was definitely going to finish him off. You know, some people blame the referee. You know, but I don't know, man. I can't. I can't. You know, even like Sandor Martin, and I know we're getting off track a little bit here, but even with Sandor Martin, you got to remember, like, you can't, you know, I was talking about him the other day and I said he should take the Sandor Martin fight. But at the same time, I'm like, yo, Sandor Martin, to me, I think he dropped Tszyu twice. I think two of those, one of them was legit. The other one didn't get counted as a knockdown, but it was a legit knockdown if you replay it. You know, so I don't think Sandor Martin's a puncher, but I think he catches you with the right shot, he could hurt you, especially if you're coming off a loss like that. He took a lot of damage. His face was like this. So I gotta wait and see, you know, before Haney goes in there with another monster puncher, you know. And what was the comment I read? You know, Westside says ring IQ posed a good question the other day. How would Haney do against Barroso? And you know, it's like I would expect Haney to easily outbox him, but Barroso got ridiculous power. If Barroso was a creative player in a game, everything, all the other stats would be down, and power would be all the way to the bar would be all the way to 10. You know what I mean? It's like, dude got some serious power. That guy hits hard as hell. He's old, but he hits crazy. So if Devin Haney is outboxing him, you know, and it's crazy because Devin gets hurt right away. Right? We saw the fight. He gets hurt right away. But he won a good amount of rounds up into the 7th round. He was winning. He was outboxing him. He was looking like himself. And he just got caught again. Every time Ryan caught him with that hook, Devin just couldn't take it. So, yes, imagine someone like Pitbull hitting you or Barroso hitting you, you know? Or it can go like the way the Regis fight thing. And that's the way I looked at it before. When he was going in to fight Regis, I thought it was a dangerous fight because Regis he hits hard like that. But Devin Haney was such a better boxer from a technical standpoint that Regis couldn't touch him. Just couldn't touch him. So Haney could beat Barroso as long as he doesn't get touched. You know? Anyway, all right. So let's talk about the last and the main card. I mean, the main fight of the card, and that's Crawford against Madrimov. And look, man, what's up, Koto? Look, you know, I talked about this fight already on this channel. Let me make things clear again. Would I love to see Crawford fight Boots right now? Absolutely. I have to always constantly make that disclaimer. I would absolutely love to see that fight at 147. But the man is set to do one thing and one thing only. And that's be a 3-division undisputed champion. And I don't think we've ever seen that before. 3-division undisputed champion. Especially doing it in a 4-belt era. Very hard to do. Very, very hard to do. This man's goal was to do that before Boots came around. All right. You got to remember, before the Spence fight happened, he was already talking about moving up to fight Jamel, who at the time was undisputed. He said he's going to beat Spence first and then move up to 154 and fight Jamel. It's not his fault that Jamel lost to Canelo and lost all his titles. It's not his fault that Tszyu, who probably would have been his opponent, lost to Sebastian Fundora. It's not his fault that Sebastian Fundora is not available. Madrimov is a champion. And I don't think Madrimov is an easy fight. He's not an easy fight. I think people are getting lost at the fact that he only has, 11, how many fights he got? He has 11 fights, 10 wins, 1 draw. All right. Since 2018, he's been pro. Very, very accomplished amateur, though. I was saying this about Andy Cruz earlier. These guys that are great amateurs, they come into the game and they fight the top right away. His first fight was against Vladimir Hernandez. So when you look at 10 fights, you got to look at the quality of the fights here. Vladimir Hernandez beat J-Rock and Lorenzo Simpson. Undefeated Lorenzo Simpson. This guy fought that guy in his first fight. His debut. What fighter has fought someone on that level in their first pro fight? Name one. Name one. Name one. Name one. What fighter do you know that fought someone on that level in his debut fight? He stops Magomed Kurbanov easy. You know who Kurbanov beat? Patrick Tszyu. You know who Patrick Tszyu beat? Carlos Adames. You know who he also beat? Liam Smith. You know who Liam Smith beat? Chris Eubank Jr. This is what I mean. Like, you got to look. Stop just looking at the record. And I know he's not familiar. But if the man wants to go for undisputed, I don't understand what's the problem with that. You know what I mean? Like, the man wants to go for 3 division undisputed. Why would people have a problem with that? I don't understand. I don't understand. In my opinion, and I probably would say this about Boots as well, if Crawford would fight in Boots. But this is Terrence Crawford's most difficult fight since Eggy Velasquez to me. I mean, it was supposed to be Spence, but Spence was obviously, not a tough fight for Bud. It was supposed to be Spence, but I'm talking about the matchup itself because he's fighting a guy, like Crawford said at the conference, he's fighting a guy that is young, fresh, undefeated, very elusive, quick, athletic fighter, not a robotic fighter. Everybody says Errol was high. He was on drugs. He had a rib injury. He, something's wrong with him. The car accident, all of this stuff. All right, so he's fighting someone right now that's one of the best at 154. and he's coming off his best win. He's not fighting David Avenesian, all right, who no one really cared for, even though he was good. No one really cared for him like that. Why? Because he wasn't really that popular. But this is a better fighter than David Avenesian at 147. He's not fighting Sean Porter. Fight was competitive, but I felt like Crawford was dragged. You know, he was carrying the fight, in my opinion. You know, no disrespect to Sean, but I felt like Crawford ended the fight when he was ready to. You know what I mean? It was like, it was competitive, but it wasn't tough. It wasn't that tough. So Errol wasn't that tough. Avenesian wasn't that tough. Sean Porter wasn't that tough. Kell Brook was old and he lost his punch resistance. Yes, Kell Brook physically was prepared. He was in great shape. He's still a very good boxer, but he doesn't have the punch resistance no more. He lost that with Triple G, and then he lost it even more with Errol Spence. So the punch resistance was off with Kell Brook. And then we go all the way down, and then we got Eggy Kavalaskis, a guy that, like Israel Madrimov, is an Eastern European fighter that can punch and can box really good. Crawford got caught with a good shot there and arguably knocked down. Now, after that, Crawford destroyed him. But what I'm saying is, if Crawford is not careful, he get caught with a good shot from this guy. This guy has got a little bit more to offer than the Crawford's most recent opponents, in my opinion. You know, and you know, Crawford, depending on how his approach is in this fight, he likes to exchange sometimes and he gets hit. You know, he can be a good defender, but he could be a brawler at times. This guy is bigger than him. So I know people, you know, again, I'm part of the Boots wave too. Like I'm big on Boots. I think Boots is very unorthodox. It's hard to predict that fight. He can switch. He's sweet. You know, he's super reflexes. So I'm part of the Boots train too. But I mean, logically here, Boots is in danger too if he moves up to 154. And there's a lot of unanswered questions here with him too. Madrimov is legit. He's just not known. And he's Eastern European. You know, it's like Victor Postal. I used to get so angry when I used to make content talking about Errol, and this is like Boots and Errol. This is Bud and Errol debates very early on, like 4 or 5 years ago. And you know, this is around when Terrence Crawford like fought Jeff Horn, and people would try to lower the quality of the win of Victor Postal. And I'm like, do you guys watch boxing? Did you ever watch Victor Postal? This is a guy that Danny Garcia avoided for years. You know what I mean? Like, who really beat him clear? Everybody, even the people he lost to. Josh Taylor lost the first half of that fight against Victor Postal. Ramirez, I don't even think Jose Ramirez won that shit. And Postal was old at that time. You guys got to look at the history, bro. Yes, Danny avoided him for a while. Danny avoided him. This is when Danny was WBC champ. Look it up. Just look up Danny. Look up Danny Garcia on Google. Go on Google, look up Danny Garcia and put Victor Postal. That fight was supposed to happen. That was the only fight where Crawford fought extremely carefully, like cautious. Right? Do you guys remember that fight? Avoided him. But again, he's an Eastern European guy. He's a Ukrainian fighter. I get it. A lot of Americans, they don't care about him. I get it. He's not selling tickets. Nobody knows him. It's a good fighter. It's a good fighter. This used to be an issue with Triple G. I was making content on Triple G. People used to think that Willie Monroe was going to beat Triple G. Why? Because Willie Monroe is more known here. He's American, or not more known, but he was American. When Triple G wasn't, you know what I mean? Like, you guys know what it is. Some of these Eastern European fighters are a lot of them are legit. So, listen, Madrimov is not a big name. I get it. But if you're going to try to become undisputed in the third division, something that's never ever been done, we got great fighters, all-time fighters. I'm not even going to go all the way to the past. Let's just stick to what we got right here. When you look at it, we got Inoue, who's on the verge to being, maybe he might even get 3 divisions too before he retires. We got Canelo Alvarez, is already viewed as a generational great. Guys like Triple G. And then you go back, you got Mayweather, Pacquiao. Neither one of those guys was undisputed. Yes, they were popular. They made a lot of money. But neither one was undisputed. Yes, they won division. They won titles in every division. 7 divisions, 5 divisions, 8 divisions, whatever. But they don't got no undisputed. So if you're going to be the first to do it 3 times in the four belt era, that's dope. You think Terrence Crawford is going to hold up that for Boots? He's not. And you know what? To be honest, I don't even think people would have a problem with it if Jamel was still champion. Let's say Jamel never fought Canelo. Let's say Jamel stayed at 154, never had an injury. Let's say he beat Tszyu. And Crawford beats Spence. And then Crawford fights Jamel for undisputed. Do you think people will be screaming out that he's ducking Boots? Hell no. They would have been like, yo, that's cool. Jamel could get revenge on Spence taking that L. He's undisputed. Terrence Crawford's undisputed at 147. It would have been undisputed versus undisputed. A real undisputed versus not Charlo going up 2-3 divisions to fight Canelo. No, you would have had 147 undisputed versus 154 undisputed. But Jamel messed that up. Nah, he ain't mess it up because he got an opportunity to get paid to fight Canelo. Who's going to turn down a Canelo opportunity? So I get that. But the belts are all separated now. But if Jamel was still undisputed and he beat Tszyu, who was his mandatory at the time, and Crawford was undisputed at 147, nobody would have been talking about Boots. Or at least not him ducking Boots. Now, if Crawford would have beat Jamel, then it would go back to like, oh, well, you got to see Boots. You know what I mean? Like, y'all got to make sense. Y'all got to make it more sense. Again, yo, I wanted Floyd to fight Paul Williams. I wanted Floyd to fight a lot of people. He didn't fight them all. I wanted Floyd to fight Cashapp. I wanted Floyd to fight a lot of people he just didn't fight. Just because he didn't fight that one fighter, it doesn't necessarily mean he ducked. He fought other really good fighters. You know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. I wanted him to fight Antonio Margarito. Did he? No. Does it take away from his legacy? Absolutely not. So I hope he gets Boots. I think if Boots really, really wants it at that point, you're with Eddie. I still think it might happen. Eddie is working with Crawford for this card. If Boots is the IBF champ, right? If Boots could finagle a way to leave 147, like get this fight with Crowley, who's your mandatory, and find a way to get first dibs at an IBF strap at 154, do it. Because now Crawford has to fight you to become undisputed. It's like Canelo and Benavidez. Benavidez wasn't part of that 4-fight undisputed match thing that Canelo did. Why? Because even though he was a WBC, he lost it on the scale. He lost it on recreational drugs. So he lost the title. So Canelo didn't have to go through him to become undisputed. If Boots really wants to fight, if he wants it that bad, because there's no fights at 147. Let's be real. You gotta stay at the division to fight who? Stan Jonas? To fight Mario Barrios? Who you fighting? Cody Crowley? All the real fights is at 154. You're already big at 147. Where's the money at 147? Go to 154 now. What's stopping you from going there? At least have your one fight, defend your title, fight your mandatory at 147 first. Get that in. Go up to 154. Try to get a title shot right away at 154. Put yourself in position to where Crawford has to fight you to become undisputed, if possible. You're with Turkey Al-Sheikh. I saw your picture the other day. You're with Eddie Hearn now. Like, I'm sure they can make that happen. Listen, if the WBA can make Isaac Cruz and Jose Valenzuela and Rolly Romero and all these guys from 135 fight for a 140 title, then I'm sure they could do something and getting the IBF on board with getting Boots a title shot at 154. Because this Madrimov fight is for a WBA title. Oh, I think it's for a WBO too, or at least for a WBO interim. And who's the IBF champion now? Bakhram Murtazaliev. Bakhram Murtazaliev is IBF champ right now. I mean, beat Cody Crowley, go up to 154, fight this guy. Or stay at 147 to get undisputed, fighting who exactly? Who's he going to fight at 147? So this is what I mean. Like, the Duran Ennis thing, like, I want the fight. But I ain't stupid. Like, Bud ain't stupid neither. He wants to be three-time undisputed champion. I'm going for that. At 36 years old, I'm going for that. That's what I'm going for. At 36, that's what I would do, exactly what Bud is doing. He's going to be 37 this year. He's going to be 37 in like 4 or 5 months. I would go for what he's doing right now. All right. Again, it's not an easy fight, y'all. It's not an easy fight. I think Bud, the matchup itself, of course, the fight didn't happen yet, but the matchup itself, I'm picking Bud to win. But it might be his first decision win in a long time. Or it might at least be a fight where he might at least get hurt, get caught with a good shot. I'm expecting this to be the most competitive fight since the earlier rounds of the Eggy Kalajdzic fight. At the very least, it might be the most difficult fight since that fight. Because I think Eggy did the best. The last fighter that did good against Crawford. All right. I mean, he got stopped, but he was doing well. It was a good ass fight. Eggy did good against Virgil Ortiz too. You know, he is another Eastern European fighter. You know what I mean? You know, Spence was supposed to be the boogeyman, but you know, we saw how that ended. All right, and I think Boots would be a great fight, but again, I would go for the undisputed thing. I think that's the way to go. All right, so that's my thoughts on that. All right, yeah, so that's my thoughts on the whole topic, man. You know, we'll definitely talk more about this. I'll definitely do breakdowns. My picks, my early picks right now. I got Crawford over Madrimov. I don't know by knockout. I don't know. I have yet to see. I got to see more Madrimov. I got to look for some real weaknesses. You know, I might have to watch the Michelle Sorrell fight again, but I have Crawford winning. I don't know how yet. Isaac Cruz, I got winning by KO. Tszyu, I have winning. I want to say, I think he can stop Virgil. I know that's kind of wild because I know there's a lot of Virgil fans in here. I'm leaning towards Tszyu stopping Virgil late because Virgil is going to hook with him, and I think Tszyu is going to hurt him. Yeah, I know Tim is coming off the loss, but I got Tszyu. If the fight happens, I got Tszyu. I think I got Tszyu. Don't hold me to it, but for now, I got Tszyu. Y'all said Virgil's got top 10. All right, we'll see. Right now I have Andy, but I'm not giving you no prediction on Andy and Jarrell Miller. Like I told you, I gotta see how they look on the weigh-in because I don't even know if they're gonna show up. They both might come in. Andy might show up weighing 290, and Jarrell Miller might show up weighing 250. I don't know what they're gonna do, you know. But I have Andy. I'm leaning towards Andy on beating him. I'm leaning towards David Morrell on beating Kalajdzic, but I think that's the sleeper right there. And I have Andy Cruz beating Antonio Moran. Probably a decision. I think that's I don't know if he's gonna stop him. But he's definitely gonna win. All right. So I think Kalajdzic is gonna be David Morrell's toughest fight. And I think the most likelihood of an upset on this card is the Kalajdzic Morrell fight. Even though I think Morrell's going to win, I think the most likelihood of an upset is that fight there. Yeah. I think the most 50-50 fight out of all of these fights is definitely Tszyu and Virgil Ortiz. I think that's probably the most 50-50 out of all of them. And then I would say next after that will probably be David Morrell against Hot Rod Kalajdzic. And yeah, as far as 50-50s. I say everything else is like I got a little edge towards the other guy. All right. All right, guys. I'm gonna get out of here. Look, gonna be pre-recorded Virgil Ortiz card. Jojo Diaz versus Oscar Duarte and Ramsey Barthelemy against Ramirez. That video is coming in an hour and a half. All right. So it's already uploaded. It's already done. So be on the lookout for that. Please, if you are new, hit the subscribe button. Hit the thumbs up on your way out. And I'll see you guys on the next one, man. I'll be back tomorrow with some more content. All right. Y'all have a good day. Peace.